Hi everyone, I'm Pat Prokop. I'm here on my Weather and Nature channel. I'm going to take a look at the Thanksgiving Day weather and the weather for the big weekend thereafter for all the travel and all the festivities for this holiday weekend. So let's get into it. And first of all, let's take a look at the satellite imagery. And there, once again, you can see the clouds have been persisting across the southeast portions of Georgia, and eastern South Carolina. Another band of clouds over in southeastern Kansas, across Oklahoma into Texas, all the way down into the Big Bend area of Texas. Another one up in the northwest portion of the country. But, there's no major storms ongoing right now. Looking at the map itself, this is at sunset for Wednesday evening, the day before Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving Eve, I guess you can call it that. And again, a mostly dry weather pattern across the country. As we go into Thursday afternoon, let's go to Thursday morning, because up here in the Northeast, there's high pressure over the northern portions of, just north of Maine, northwest of Maine into eastern Quebec. And it's producing generally fair weather across a large portion of the Northeast into the Great Lakes states, and that will provide some excellent weather for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. And it doesn't look like much wind either, so the balloons, they'll be a-flowing. Meanwhile, that system over in Texas that is producing the clouds, we'll start seeing some rain developing. And again, this is rain, not snow. Some widely scattered snow showers up in the mountains of Colorado into Wyoming. But all in all, things look relatively quiet for Thanksgiving Day at sunrise going into the afternoon. That rain system gets a little bit better organized over into the eastern Texas, Louisiana, into Arkansas, maybe even some thunderstorms in that area. There is a slight risk for severe weather in that region. But for our area of Georgia and South Carolina, we've got some rain showers off the coast, and some of those might try to move onshore, but most of them will stay offshore. You see this band of showers that's extending across from that Texas system that advanced eastward. That is a warm front. Yeah, warm front. That's going to bring in some warmer air into Georgia and South Carolina. We're looking at 70s for the weekend going into next week in the greater Savannah, Hilton Head area. Up in the Northeast, in the eastern Great Lakes states, they're getting precipitation, but it's in the form of rain, not snow. That's going to be mixing in with that snow on the ground in the greater Buffalo area. That's going to maybe cause a little flooding issue as the snow melts and the rain falls. But it doesn't look like anything heavy at this time. It could be some freezing rain in some of those areas to the north around the Toronto, Ontario area. But then going into sunset on Friday, there you can see the chances of some light rain in Georgia and South Carolina and off the mid-Atlantic coastal states. A system in Texas is persistent. It just stays there. Lots of rain across a large portion of the state of Texas, and some snow, moderate to heavy snow perhaps, in southeastern New Mexico, southwestern and western portions of Texas. And up in the northeast portion of the country, some snow mixed with rain as that low pressure exits the northeast portion of the nation. And then by Saturday at sunrise, again, fair weather, cooler temperatures in the northeast, but fair and mild weather across a large portion of the southeast. Still raining in Texas, moving into Oklahoma and a little bit of Louisiana. And that rain and snow mixture in eastern portions of New Mexico and West Texas is just that. It's a mix of rain and snow. Nothing doesn't look like anything serious right now. And as we go into Saturday afternoon, into Saturday sunset, that rain system advances as a rain system into the Ozarks and down across the lower Mississippi River Valley. High pressure off the mid-Atlantic coastal states is providing mild weather conditions into Georgia and South Carolina, and as a matter of fact, into the Ohio River Valley. And then the big travel day home on Sunday. This is sunrise on Sunday. The rain system extends from the mid to almost upper Mississippi River Valley down to the lower Mississippi River Valley, east of the Mississippi River Valley into Alabama and Georgia. Atlanta could be under some rain to moderate to heavy rains on Sunday morning, maybe even some thunderstorms. So, the busy airport at Atlanta, Fulton County Airport, may have issues there. And also around Louisville, Kentucky could see some rain, and Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati area, stretching into the Detroit metropolitan area. But it's a cold rain there, not snow. And advancing into sunset on Sunday, there you can see that rain system advancing northeastward. Again, mostly rain, some snow up in Ontario, Canada, around Toronto, and some light showers across the southeast United States. But all in all, it looks pretty good. Then after that, things dry out considerably. Some snow in the northwest portion of the country, but nothing nothing to write home about. Looking at the jet stream, this right here is the subtropical jet stream, and it's flowing and dominating the weather pattern right now across the center and the southern portion of the country. That northern polar jet is trying to plunge southward, but it's running against the strength of the subtropical jet. Now, moving into, let's go into Saturday. Right here is Saturday morning. Notice that the subtropical jet is bowing northward into Kansas and Nebraska, even in Iowa. That's going to pump in some mild air. Here you have a ridge of high pressure developing in the northern Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to continue to pump in warmer air across the eastern two-thirds of the country, at least the eastern half of the country. The polar jet is way up there into central Canada, then dives down into the extreme northeast United States. And that's sunrise on Saturday. Let's go into mid-afternoon on Sunday right here. And there you can see the subtropical jet flowing across the portions of the southeast, and that could produce thunderstorm activity in the Atlanta metropolitan area. Looks like all that rain's going to stay west of the coast of Georgia and South Carolina. Again, we're not seeing too much in the polar jet. You're seeing a Pacific jet coming in across the northwest portion of the country. That usually brings in somewhat mild, colder air, but not bitterly cold. And then let's go a couple more days in advance of that. And well, we're not still seeing much. This is on Monday morning, the Monday after Thanksgiving. Again, it's mostly the middle and the northern portion of the country under a what's called a zonal flow. That's a west to east flow, and that blocks off the polar air. And there's some of the polar air coming down from the northwest part of the country. Okay, moving along. Let's look at temperatures here in the southeast, first of all, and we're seeing mild weather conditions as we go over time. This is every 1 hour. So here we go into Thanksgiving Day right here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And there you can see temperatures in the 70s across portions of Georgia into South Carolina. Even the Atlanta metropolitan area is right around the 60-degree mark, and going into the middle 60s across central portions of Kentucky up into the Ohio River area. And then, of course, cool nighttime temperatures, but still mild in the 50s for the overnight lows in the Savannah area. And then going into Friday afternoon, we are seeing those temperatures again in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Of course, Florida's in the 80s, as they would be. And advancing into time, you started seeing some of the cold air push southward into the Ohio River Valley for sunrise on Saturday morning. Now, let's go in advance to the North America continent and look at the temperature trends out here. And notice the very cold air. This is over here up in the northern portions of Canada into the Arctic Ocean. Those temperatures are about 10, 20 below zero out there. And there's the zero line Fahrenheit temperature there, and some cold sub-freezing temperatures in the northwest portion of the country. But look at the eastern two-thirds, mostly mild weather conditions. And notice that the mild weather stays just that, and it bows all the way up into Montana and North Dakota along about Saturday afternoon. It's going to be relatively mild, almost warm across portions of Nebraska by their standards for this time of the year. In the upper 50s and lower 60s. We'll be in the 60s and 70s in the Savannah, Hilton Head area. And then going ahead over 12 Zulu Sunday morning, that's sunrise on Sunday and Sunday afternoon. Ooh, look at that. Did you see that? Temperatures in the upper 70s, perhaps, in portions of southeastern Georgia, and 80s in the Florida. But still very cold to the north, but it stays locked up into the north. And we're not seeing much of that breaking loose at all over time. And look, there you can see a bowing of warm air moving all the way up into the Great Lakes states. And this is for Tuesday, late in the day Tuesday, midday Tuesdays right there. And then it begins to cool off a little bit thereafter. Here we are. This is the Thursday after Thanksgiving. Looking at the 6 to 10 day weather outlook for temperature wise, there you can see again it's very mild across the southern states, southeastern states, up into the Ohio River Valley and into the Mid-Atlantic coastal states, and temperature is somewhat below normal across the northwest and the western portion of the country. And then the 8 to 14 day forecast, temperatures likely to be above the normal across a large portion of the southeast into the Ohio River Valley, Missouri Valley, Mississippi Valley, into Texas, and below normal in the northwest, where, well, usually it is below normal this time of the year, but even colder than normal. So yeah, warmer air is on the way. As we look ahead for the next several weeks, there we can see the week 1 and week 2, the temperatures. Week 3 stays mild across the south and the mid portion of the country. Cold air up in the northwest. Week number 4, the cold air stays into the north, the mild air in the south. And week 5 and week 6, even the northwest and west begin to warm up somewhat. As temperatures will be averaging slightly above normal for this time of the year. So, going to my website, savannahpat.name, going to my 6-week weather outlook, notice all these temperature values are above normal to slightly above normal, all the way from Thanksgiving to the new year, January 4th of 2023, and precipitation will be mostly below normal for our area. We don't get that much to begin with, only about less than an inch of rain per week across our area during this time of the year. So, with this mild weather, I've been planting a winter garden here, and the beans have been growing. I've been picking green snap beans and wax beans, and I expect to get more of those along with this mild weather conditions. The lettuce, look at this, the lettuce is growing nicely. And on top of that, the tomato plants I got planted in the whiskey barrels. I can move those into the greenhouse if I have to, or the garage in the event we get a cold snap, but I'm not expecting anything of any significance for the next 6 weeks. And hopefully I'll start seeing tomatoes forming by the end of December into January and February. Last year I was picking fresh red tomatoes the size of tennis balls and baseballs in March, actually in February and March right here from the weather garden. I'm trying to do the same thing this year. And one other thing, last year I got 3-point setup plants, and I planted them in the garden in March, and then I trimmed them back, pruned them, and then let them bush out. And look at them now; they are blooming, and with this mild weather, they'll be blooming even more so. Even more red will be coming on these bracts over the next several days to the next several weeks. So by Christmas, hopefully this will be a bright red. But they look pretty good right now. I did feed them several times. Once a month I give them a liquid fertilizer to help with the growth and the vitality, I suppose, of them. But yeah, the poinsettias are doing very well. So if you like this channel, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I try to give a weather forecast at least once a week on this channel right here. And my other channel, I do all my astronomy work with all my telescopes, Heavenly Backyard Astronomy. So you can catch me right here on YouTube. But I hope you have a great Thanksgiving and eat all the turkey you want. Okay, I love turkey. So anyway, thanks for watching, and see you right here on YouTube.